So today we're going to go over some hands that I played from the recent €50 SECOOP 4 max game. So we're just going to kick it off straight away into the action here. We've got pocket eights and a small blind. Starting the hand with around 50 big blinds just below. We get an open from the big blind who's sitting on around 20 big, so we just reshove. Pretty clear all in. But there was some dynamic behind it at the time. He'd been open raising quite a lot, open raising and folding. But we've got like a really strong hand in the small blind. At the same time, it doesn't really play well post flop out of position. So pretty much our only option is to move all in. And we take in the pot. Here we see a short stack calling off with 6-5 offsuit in the big blind and losing his last remaining chips. So this is when there's around 20 people left in the tournament. Pretty late stages. And a lot of the time when we're playing these 4 max games, we are going to be playing three-handed and we're waiting for the tables to balance. Here, ace-9 offsuit, just an easy open from the button. We have a decision if the big blind went all in, probably lean towards the call though with ace-9 off. To fold some of our lower aces, maybe ace-deuce, ace-3. Queen-jack off against this weak action, we're just going to push all in. Win the pot, or if he calls, hopefully just win the flip. King-10 off, we can pass. Maybe like king-queen suited, we would probably call. So ace-5 off against two short stacks, I just prefer to just get this all in pre-flop. We do end up checking back this bad board for our range and just giving up on the turn to such a big size, and we could call like a small sizing. Here we're going to muck the king-9 off. There's a good raising hand on the button, obviously we're three-handed. Same way we said we would call earlier with ace-9 off, we're not going to call with king-9 offsuit. We could call with like, some king-jack suited and stuff like that and hope to be flipping a lot, but king-9 off is just going to be dominated too often. So here against, we haven't really made too many moves small blind, so my thinking at the time was I'm going to get a lot of respect if I, with my 3x's, I'm just getting a good steal. We do get called. I figure he's going to reshove like all decent pairs, so I go for a big size in here and just try to take down the pot. Hoping to just see a fold. Does call us. So it makes me think that he has a decent hand, maybe like a small pair, 4s, 5s, something like that. This is kind of the range that I was putting him on at the time. So ace, I feel like is a good card for my range. I can have a lot of the, ace queens, ace jacks, ace kings, ace 10. So I thought about just check giving up here, but decided that a nice bet to get him off any deuce X, any 3s, any 4s, pairs like that. Have a hard time calling this river, but he does just float the flop with ace high, and that's a pretty easy call on the river. So we lose that pot. Not good. We lost quite a lot of chips there. Still kind of like the line. Don't hate the river bet either. Pretty lucky that he just has an ace to call us with. Wasn't really trying to bluff him off and rivered pair of aces. So we get the kings and the big blind. So hopefully this is our comeback hand. We get the all in from a small blind. Lovely. Love to see it. And we're sweating 32% equity, 11%. and that's not going to do it. We end up losing that. We're pretty crippled. We're down to 8 big blinds. So we're going to move all in with a 9-7 offsuit as a steal, obviously, but pretty much don't have anything to lose at this point with 15 of 16. No, now we're actually 16 of 16, so 10 big blinds on a button, easy jam with any ace. 7-8 suited. It's a good hand to jam with. 12 big blinds. Pretty close to the king 6 off. Against that player, I don't mind a fold. Against some better players, maybe you would call there if they would be shoved. If they're going to shove so wide that king high is gonna rate to be good a lot of the time. So we complete the 3-6 suited. Would probably fold 3-6 off, and we hit bottom 2 pair and just decide to lead out. Figure that the button's going to limp with a decent hand, and it's going to at least call 1 bet. And I have shown that I've been pretty bluffy. Get called by 8s. The turn is horrible, but the river saves us with making 6s full of queens. So we got some chips back. Got a workable stack with like 25 big blinds. We open the king jack off. Get a good flop for our hand. Have to figure that he's gonna 3-bet any decent ace high hand, so this is a better board for us than it is for him. We do have a heart as well. I thought about just check calling or check continuing, maybe check jamming, but decided that a small bet would be better, just to deny some equity from some hands which could catch up. So here we want to be pretty balanced in a small blind. Against this size, though, I think I just decide to give up. With other hands, though, I would just check jam. So I would do the same with like ace 10 offsuit, limp to induce a raise, and then move all in. With king 10 off, I felt like I was low enough in my value range that I didn't need to do anything. Here we flop the absolute nuts, which is amazing. So we go for a small sizing, hopefully to get called by 1 pair, but has nothing. Back up to nearly a million though. So again, a nice little comeback. Six nine offsuit. I think I contemplated raising, but just opt for the check back. Play a little bit of small ball. Flop second pair, backdoor straight and flush draws with the 9 spades. So just take a stab in position and win the pot right there. So this was my plan with this hand as well. I figured this one was good enough to check jam. However, don't see a great flop. We have to call at least 1 bet with our ace high. This is a pretty horrible turn card, though. We don't have a spade. I think we just end up giving up here. Yeah, especially to that huge sizing. So no need to go crazy. We just, we had a good hand. We took it to the flop, and we didn't hit a good board for our hand. So I'm happy to give that one up. Could get bluffed out by some like king X with 1 spade and hands like that can just apply a lot of pressure. Here we raise the king jack off on the button. We see a great flop for our hand. We flop a pair of jacks and the nut flush draw. Don't really see a need of betting though. We want to keep some worse hearts in the hand. And we don't want to build a pot against an ace, so we just check back turn as well, because the deuce is obviously better for the big blind range. When it comes to this river, I think we just go for a small value bet. Yeah, like 1/3. Hoping to get called by any non-believer. It's pretty hard for him to have anything on that board, but some non-believing king highs maybe. Queen nine suited, just open, take it down. Hand that plays wild post flop. Ace jack off. I think we just find the three bet all in here with like again under 30 big blinds. So yeah, just a reshove. Here we just go for the open jam, just the unexploitable play. If we limp, we could re-raise, but if we get to see a flop, it's not going to play too well. Here we skipped on a few hands. We've got 20 big blinds. The blinds have gone up. And we have ace nine in the big blind. So let's see what happens here. Saw it was a few days ago now, so I can't remember some of the hands. We just get a walk. Okay, so I remember this dynamic. The big blind was super, super tight. So I think 9-8 off is just a 10 big blind jam from the small blind all day long, but especially against a tight player who's only going to wake up with, say, 5% of their hands because they're clearly concerned about the pair jumps. It's just a shove all day. We get called, we have 38% equity. It's going to be no good against ace king on the ace sideboard, pretty much drawn dead on the flop. So that sucked. Our knit friend actually found the hand that he needed to call us, the ace king offsuit. Pretty sure he's always folding this. He's the type of player that will just be unbalanced and raise with his good hands, I think. Wow, okay, prove me wrong. Did limp a good one. We get the pocket nines, we've got 10 big, so we're all in. We wait a little bit though, we want to act too quickly. Make it clear we've got a good hand. So we move in, we're pretty much hoping for a call with this type of hand. We've given a lot of action on the table, hoping to get called by a hand that we dominate. Lower pair, ace high. Ace high with only one over. Don't think we get called, no, we don't. So king jack off. Would probably just reshove this against like a min raise. Maybe look for a stop and go against like a 3x sizing. I don't think we would be folding this to much action, especially like small blind all in with snap call. Maybe an under the gun raise though. May be tempted to fold against such a tight opponent. Button limps, which is pretty strange. I remember thinking that I'm either going to get cooled or I'm just going to win this pre-flop. But just decided my hand's too strong to not go for it. We'll probably check back with some like king 8 suited and hands like that. But king jack off, I just figured let's put it in. Even if he's limping to induce with like ace queen, we're flipping. So here, same story. 10 big blinds. We've got a suited queen and a small blind. We're all in. Against the nit, hopefully can't find a hand against us again. And he does, he finds the 10, so we got 31% equity and we hit the queen. And another one for good measure. So, poker's all about getting lucky. Double up. You know, walk a few hands later. So I think this was on the final table bubble now. Just waiting for, so in these 4-max games, the final table is 5-handed. Because otherwise there would be one table just playing heads up, one table playing three-handed, so it wouldn't be fair. So they make the final table five-handed. So we make the final table. I think we come in second in chips. But we have like a decent size lead on the fifth player. I think the pay jump between fifth and fourth, I remember looking at it for ICM reasons. It was like around €700. So it's a pretty decent pay jump. It's pretty important to try and outlive a shorter stack opponent when you can just, you know, win a decent chunk of money for doing so. So here we get King Queen suited. I'd probably like to see a rejam. Obviously, small blind to big blind, we just shove all in. We do, however, get this situation happen because I remember this hand. And I hate this. But we fold. Some ICM implications. I've played on the same table as him for so many hands, and I just haven't seen that move from him. So I've just figured that normally we could call and just hope to be flipping. But just figured that he's going to be doing that with ace kings, ace queens. Just seemed like a pretty straightforward player that, you know, he's going to have a lot of hands where we're flipping, but I just hated to call off with the other stack lower than us as well. So here, skipping on a few hands, we get the ace jack suited with 8.5 big blinds. And we see the under the gun limp, which we have not seen before. But it's not going to stop us moving all in, and we do get coolered. Flop a flush draw though. Think, and we get there for nearly 2 million chips. So it's one of those hands where we do end up getting in pretty bad, but in a spot where we have 8.5 big blinds with the premium hand, which, regardless of the shorter stack than us having, so few chips, we're just not looking to fold that. Here's a pretty interesting hand. We have ace 10 suited. However, there's a player on our table with 5 big blinds. And we started the hand with 17 big blinds. This is a spot where we're looking to play some small ball. The ICM implications are pretty huge. We do get a 4x raise on a small blind from the chip leader. And I just decide to fold. I'd hate flat calling. I don't really like moving all in over the top of the chip leader, because even if he's making it 4 times the blind with, say, pocket fives, he's probably not going to fold. So I didn't really know what to do in that spot. I felt like sometimes we're getting taken advantage of in that spot, but kudos to him if he's doing it with just some absolute trash hand and he thinks that he's getting the raise through. I think maybe he would choose like a slightly larger size in there. He seemed too value heavy, so just opted for the fold. And I can't remember the last time I folded ace 10 suited on a final table with 17 big blinds, but that was the spot for it, with a player left with 5 big blinds with huge ICM implications. So pretty clear fold, I think. Here we skip on a bunch of hands. No one is busted. We get pocket nines in the big blind. We're not looking to fold this. We get the small blind shove. With king 6 offsuit, we call it off. He's got some equity. He hit a 6, but we take down the pot. And we're back up to 2.3 mil. And hopefully about to bust a player as well. The button has half a big blind, not even. However, if he folds, we're going to be putting the max ICM pressure on our buddy in the big blind, because he literally can't call. And that's what ends up happening. So you cannot call this €700 pay jump. Even if he had like ace 10, it's going to find an easy fold because there's no reason for him to risk it. So that player does end up busting before the short stack, which is pretty unreal. Short stack doubles, making a straight. We get ace-5 offsuit in the big blind, so we'll obviously be gambling, wagering our biscuits versus this 3-blind stack, and he has king-7 off. It's a king. So we would have called him with way worse hands than probably pretty much any two you're going to call a 3 big blind all in. Here I think we end up moving all in. We're gonna pick like a top end or a range and just shove with it. But king-10 off I felt like was good enough in game. Here, same thing. We need to be stealing with some hands, otherwise we're going to become the shortest stack. Ace in the small blind is going to be good enough all day. Here we're not going to isolate with ace-6 off. With other hands, like maybe ace-9 suited, we could go for it there, but ace-6 off just doesn't play that well, so he's going to shove with some worse hands maybe, but nearly everything we're against is a flip. And we're dominated quite often, even when he finds like ace-8, ace-9, stuff like that, so here the dynamic was the big stack had been opening but folding to raises, so we decided to go for the re-steal. We didn't really have a lot to lose with 3 or 4, but there wasn't much difference between our stacks with the 4th place player. Here we probably would have just even mucked because of the 8 big blind stack against a raise from the chip leader. We may have moved all in there. He was opening a lot of hands, so I'm pretty sure this is where our friend busts though. Yeah, so he does move all in with a king-jack suited. Decent equity against ace-6 off. And ace-6 gets the money. So here, 3-handed, ace-2 suited. Going to open up on the button. We are last place. Here we get a good flop for a hand, 5-5 deuce. Our opponent's going to reshove all pairs pre-flop. So it's a pretty clear board for us to just bet and take it down. Find out if we're against any 5, like king-5, queen-5 suited maybe. Ace-7 to a limp. We're just going to put him all in. Put him to the test. He folds, so we had him slightly out-chipped. Ace-5 off. It's good enough. In these like ICM battles, you're just gonna have to find like the best of your hands and just go with them. You don't want to play tight, but then you can't pass up certain situations. We do end up getting called by ace-3 suited, which is going to be a chop nearly all the time, and is the case in this one. So here there was like a pretty big money jump between third and second. I think it was €2,000. So here we were really looking to outlive our opponent here, Francois. So we hate to see stuff like that, like raise folds, Here we've got 8-9 off. Debated just folding, but I think it plays well enough where we can just call. Get a good flop for our hand. We hit a pair and a flush draw. Don't really see a point to betting. Good turn card for us that pairs the board. He's not going to have any ace high. He could have some king high. Didn't really see any value in betting the river. Bet for some protection of our hand on the turn. Get any higher spades to call. Probably any spade to call actually. On the river, I like to check calling. And he just has the 9 high, the 7 high spade. So nice little bluff catch. Open shove the jacks. We don't want to raise and let our opponent put us all in with a €2,000 pay jump on the line. So things are looking pretty good for us now. We've got 2x. Okay, our opponent's all in with queen 10 off. And we fade. So we get heads up. And this is not going to be too much of a long heads up. A little spoiler for you. Yeah, ace queen suited versus limp. We're going to move all in. Give our friend a little well played good luck. Kind of made our life pretty easy for us on the final table. 7-8 off. Don't mind the limp, but like 20 big blinds. Don't really see much need in raising. We are going to continue. We're going to call a raise, and we flop 2 pair. It's looking good for us. So we could raise here. We want to keep all his bluffs in though. It's not too many bad cards for us. That is one of the worst cards, but opponent is not going to have ace-10 too often. We'll decide to go for it here. 2 pair. Protect our hand a little bit. And we get cooled. He flops an open-ended and turns the gin. So we do end up losing that heads up in 2 hands, but we did have a huge chip deficit, so we did well. On the final table, we ended up cashing for just over 4,800 euro. So the big sweat was making second from third, which we got for an extra 2,100 euro. So all in all, with our stack size, we ran pretty good. Made a nice result. Yeah, so thanks a lot. Hopefully you enjoy the video. If you don't play on PokerStars yet, get signed up. Visit newonlinepoker.com. Cheers.